Hey everyone, this is Nick, Nick Amaris, and basically you can find more information about me at nickamaris.com, nicmrayce.com. So today I'm just gonna walk through some of the success I've made through Google Ads for one of my clients, which is in B2B space, which is really tough. I would say B2B is always harder than B2C when you're dealing with e-commerce, and B2C is always easier because you're dealing with directly with customers. But with B2B, the cost to acquire a business, for this kind of industry would be a much tougher one. But fortunately, when they came to me with a problem on how they can actually acquire signups on their site at a at a very low cost, and we pretty much I managed to basically do it. So you can see here, started off at 2.29 euros, and then managed to keep it at 0.39, and the highest it has been was 0.93 cents. So you can see there is a really so a lot of this difference there, that in terms of the reduction of the cost per conversion while getting a really decent number of conversions. So you can see here, we managed to capture as much conversions at a very low cost, and this means that even if you are a new startup, that only want to spend, let's see here, for example, the total spend here was so even if you have 1,000 euros to begin with, we can always try to make it to work. I can always try to make something out of it, because there are definitely a lot of different techniques you can use to basically making sure that you are not burning, you're not breaking bank with Google Ads. So so basically, just to share one of the techniques, one of the core things I would do before I even begin, designing the campaigns in Google Ads is that this is pretty much like, this is how I literally, do the keywords, stats, keyword research, where, the first thing I would do is basically we need to identify what are the industry keywords, what are the topic cluster keywords that we can use, and what are the keywords that, my favorite would be competitor. What do the competitor use mostly? And you can see here clearly, I'm looking at what are the competitor keywords, what are they bidding on, and what's the budget they spend. And this is how I can decide commercially this keyword would have bring some ROI to the competitor because of the amount of money they're spending. There has to be a strong reason why their marketing team would have invested this much of money, which is why it is one of the most important factors that I would look at when it comes to deciding what are the keywords that are having some sort of purchase intent. So you can see, one of the metrics I would look at is the competitor budget, and then followed by having, this is optional, because the context, mostly I designed this column just so that once we do the audience profiling, pretty much knowing what are the target audience that we want to capture, because sometimes keywords can give different contexts, even though you're using the same keyword. For example, like this company is dealing with affiliate marketing can be, when someone search affiliate marketing, there can be two type of audience that's searching for it. It can be sometimes SaaS business owner who wants to actually learn more about affiliate marketing and how to build an affiliate program, and they want to find affiliates. But on the other hand, you also have people like, for example, there are affiliate marketers. They are searching for affiliate marketing maybe because they want to actually search for an affiliate program and join it and make commissions out of it. So you can see that it's very important that we cluster that accordingly, based on that, because in the end you want to serve like the most relevant content to that keyword, knowing what's the context and the audience that we'll want to serve. Then followed by, you can see here, I pay really high attention to CPC bid of competitor, because this is going to affect how much we're going to spend in our own. And basically here, I would look for what are the this is me trying to figure out what kind of auction I wanna enter. Like for example, if you came to me and said like I only have 1,000 euros to begin with, then I have to like really think carefully whether do I want to bid on, do I want to enter auctions where the CPC bidding is high, like this one, like $23 per click, $13 per click. It will be unwise for me because then you'll gather too little clicks, and imagine if your conversion rate is 1% and the clicks that I'm getting for you is really less, then there's going to be little amount of conversions that you're getting. So these are the stuff that I would normally see in order to like really know, like, okay, I'm gonna, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna choose whichever that I feel more confident to bid. So it has a decent average monthly amount of search, right? That's also important because average monthly searches is pretty much we deciding what is the TAM of the market, like the total addressable market. We want to know how big it is. SEO is a bit different. SEO is, we definitely want to capture a more long tail specific keywords, and which doesn't necessarily have a really high monthly searches, because we know that whoever that search for long tail keyword must have a specific intent in their mind with the hope that they are actually bottom funnel audience. But unlike paid marketing, the approach is slightly different. It's actually the reverse. In my experience, I would actually go for keywords that has a very decent amount of monthly search. Not too little, because again, in the end, we want to make an impact at the end of the day. If I bid on 50 per month, right? There is a really high chance that the conversions that you'll be getting might be low, and it depends on the speed. Let's say if you speed, like you want conversions to happen like in that very month, I would really go for high volume versus this one. Unless if your goal is like, okay, yeah, conversions window, like I have time, 90 days, then we can definitely experiment with this kind of like the lower monthly searches. But so it depends on the time. Basically, the speed that you want me to run the ads is basically very important. And then another thing that I will also look for is the top of page bid, and this is also again, I look at this a lot as well as the competitor bid, just again for me to understand how much do I really want to, how much do I want to bid at the end of the day, so I know, okay, there are some people who are bidding this low and there are people who are bidding this high. So if I want to be somewhere in between, I want to be like probably in the second, third position, maybe not the first, then I would bid somewhere in between, in order to get that visibility, that impression share. Because impression share is very important. The faster people see you being on top of the, top 5 results. Like there is a research done. I can't remember who did it, but one thing that I remember from the research is that 40% of users only search up to the first 10 searches, the first 10 positions in Google results, and only 20% goes to the page 2 of search page results. So you can see here that people are really not patient enough to like do their research when they want to buy something. So you definitely want to make sure that we are rushing you into that position during that rush moment, making sure that we are there and have visibility. So impression share is very important, and it's also one of my main go-to search bidding strategy when I'm using, there's a lot of ways, there's a lot of bid strategy. There's target impression share, there's target outranking share, there's target conversion, target CPA and everything. So one of my favorite ways to bid is always starting with target impression share, so that we can test the waters quickly, to see if users are responding to your product. Then we think about the conversions later on. So here is where I would then do some sort of calculation on what are the potential conversions that we can get, from some of the keywords. you know, and this is where, I would then I will estimate if your product is having a conversion value of $500, for example, then what is the ROAS, what is the expected ROAS if we start investing in this keyword. So you can see, how I'm designing this. It's really important to have everything in place, before we even start planning out. Like here, like a lot of people I see, they are really anxious to like really start with, like I'm just gonna run Google Ads, and then they end up burning money. A lot of people, founders, marketers think that it's as easy as Facebook ads. It's definitely not. Like I've done profitable Facebook ads as well. I can definitely do Facebook ad setup as well. But then one of the most common misconception is that, hey, you know what, I can do Facebook ads, probably Google ads should be almost the same, but it's definitely not. With my experience, Google ads are much more technical. There's a lot more, there's so much more customization potential than just simply, Facebook ads. Like there's a lot of things you can do with Facebook ads, but there's tons more you can do with Google ads. It allows you to like, there's a lot of ways you can lower your CAC and maximize your ROAS. And you can see here, I don't even set really high bidding. And my approach here is, you can see, like I break down, I love the SKAG strategy, which is a single keyword ad group, whereby I group, similar topics into one ad group. So you can see here, like the way I was doing it, SaaS, exact, I build it by context, by type, exact, whether is it exact keyword, broad keyword. Exact is always the best if you are really having like little money for exploration and keyword discovery. So I would really go for exact most of the time. Only if you have, like, we have extra money out of, for example, let's say we don't have enough keywords, exact keywords we want to play around with, that don't have specific purchase intent, strong purchase intent. This is where, like, I would then run broad campaign in order to, like, really find those keywords which has potential purchase intent. So so this is this is very important. The arranging the campaign structure is second most important. This is the first thing most important. Second most important thing is this, like arranging the campaign structure. It can't be messed up, because if we mess this up, we're gonna lose a lot of money. And you can see here, as I mentioned earlier, like one of my most favorite bid strategy is target impression share, because it allows me to like play around and making sure that we are at the top 10 of the search results, because I know how, because I studied that research. I was using that research as my decision, in my decision making of the keyword bid strategy. So yeah, you can see here, you can see, there are some that are not eligible here. So not eligible because I paused the campaign, and some of them are I don't bid enough, because of the, again, as I mentioned, there are some keywords that I don't really want to bid too high, just because I don't want, I just don't have the capacity or the budget to like really run things. So that is why you will see that kind of error just now. So let me focus on the ones that don't have any issues. Let's see, so status, eligible, apply. Oops, because everything is paused now, let me just do like that. Yeah, there we go. So here you can see, these are there's a lot of, it's a decent conversion rate at a very low cost per conversion, and you can see here, we have the best keywords that are working really well. And thirdly, I wanna mention this before I forget, is that the third most important thing that you're gonna have to look at before you run anything is making sure that your conversion is correctly set up. This is why like I really pay really high attention to this, because conversion attribution is everything. If there will be no use of doing everything, all this jargon, all this research, but then there is no conversion, proper conversion tracking. So very important that we have this set up really well. You can see that my preferred way of tracking conversions is definitely from Google Analytics, just because it's closer to the source of truth, and when I have enough conversions going on, I can actually activate the data-driven model, the attribution model, which is really awesome. And so just only I would normally do something like you can see here. I have two different, so you can see here it's the same thing, account created. I have the GA4 version, and this is the Google Ads native version, just because I normally do this to actually counter check if the amount is correct, the amount from Google Analytics is correct, and it matches between each other. And also it is also very useful, for example, for clients like yourself, like you want to believe the results that I'm getting for you guys, like how true it is, because I'm pretty sure in the end you will still look back at your CRM, whatever e-commerce software that you're using, or Google Analytics, conversions on top of everything else. So this is actually a good way for me to counterbalance and see what's going on. So so you can see here, the conversions are not only, so for signups, there is account created, there is also book a demo. So these are what, these are the conversions that represents all the conversions that you see earlier here, so, hopefully, this is, I think, hopefully this covers what you need to know. As I mentioned just now, 3 important things that you need to care about when it comes to doing and setting up Google Ads. Number 1 is do proper research. The research has to be really good. Having all the important metrics in there. Number 2, the campaign structure is also important. Without proper campaign structure, you might burning your money. And remember that when you're doing broad, always remember to always include as much negative keywords as much as possible, because we don't want to burn money on keywords that are not relevant when you're going broad. When you're doing exact match keywords, you don't have to worry so much about this, but when you're doing broad or phrase match, you're gonna have to worry about all these negative keywords, and then the thirdly is that the conversion tracking. Really important that you set up that properly, do proper testing. If you're setting up from Tag Manager, like the good thing about me is that I'm really good at Tag Manager, just because I'm a front-end developer as well. I code stuff, I code websites, apps, in Python, Django, JavaScript and stuff like that. So Tag Manager is super easy for me to set up, but I can also do tracking, build the tracking directly in your site, in your source code directly, if it's required, without using Tag Manager. So there's always both ways to track the conversion. So hopefully this helps, and hopefully to talk to you soon, and take care. Bye.